Welcome back, flower friends. We are today, as I promised someone, going to sow salvia seeds, and we'll talk through this variety I'm growing, why I'm growing it, and whatever else I decide to add here today. So come on along. If you enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and or share with your friends and or subscribe if you haven't already. So, salvia. Do you know there are, whoops, wrong package, over 1,000 types of salvia? So I'm sure there is one for you. They come in colors like pink and white and red and purple, or some that are more of a blue. This one is called Violet Queen Salvia. This one's by Botanical Interests, and I got it because it is a perennial in my zone. Now it is a perennial through zone, let me see if it's on this package, 3 through 9. That's amazing. Many salvias, many that I love and have grown from seed. I grew Blue Victory last year, and it's supposed to be hardy in my zone, but there's caveats with that because we get the a lot of moisture, like snow sitting on the ground, and it holds the moisture. Therefore, it doesn't drain quickly, and sometimes they just drown. They don't like to sit in that kind of moisture. The cold temperatures they could take as long as they don't get too much moisture. So that's something you have to be aware of, even if it says it's hardy in your zone. So there's a lot of things that are claimed to be hardy in my zone that don't make it through the winter. And it's not because of the temperatures. That is a misnomer. Sometimes it is your conditions, like how long you have those cold temperatures, how wet your soil stays during the winter, how well draining, how much clay you have, how much sand you have. All of those factors play a role. So just be aware of that. Okay, so here is, I love planting. This is a recycled container. I have put holes in the bottom. This is like a salad container. I like sowing seeds in trays. Now I have some more trays over here. Let me get them. I have seeds in them right now, but I got these, I think, from True Leaf Market, and that's just to plant seeds in mass. I like doing it that way because it saves space on my light rack. I have minimum amount of space, as well as I have one heat mat. I have one out here. I think I took the other one back in. I haven't started it up yet. It's not been keeping a warm temperature, the secondary one. So I have one heat mat, it's about this long. So I could fit 2 of these on it if the seeds need that extra warmth to germinate. I think these are one of them that do need that extra warmth. I tried to look up a bunch of them so I could speak about sowing many different kinds. Now I saw another one that was hardy down to zone 4, and it was a pretty pink. I don't have that one yet. I think I saw it at Select Seeds. So they have Select Seeds has a wide variety of salvias. I can feel there's a seed stuck in the top. Anyways, so today we are going to sow these. I'm just going to sow the bejeebers out of this. And then I will plant out later, pot them up later. So this is some soil, potting soil that I had put in here. I had microwaved to pasteurize it to make sure there was no fungus gnats in it. But I think I am going to put a little bit of perlite in it, just to loosen it up a bit more. Now, I don't have any set ratio. I just added a little bit to give it a little more aeration. I noticed some of my seed starting that I did just with the potting soil, it was becoming a little brickish or a little too solid for my liking. So that tells me it needed something to help loosen it up. So I'm just eyeballing it. And, usually if you use a seed starting mix, which I don't like them, you probably won't have this issue. You just have an issue trying to get that stuff moist. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Pretty good. I might add just a touch more. Now perlite not only makes it a little bit looser, the soil stay looser, It also will hold moisture and improves the drainage, one of the reasons I did it, but also it can hold on to oxygen. So the soil or the plants are less likely to drown, even if you did overwater them. So I got that all mixed in there. I'm holding this seed in my hand. I am going to fill this, not all the way up, that's for sure. I don't need to. I'm just going to give it a couple inches of soil, if that. Maybe even only 1.5 inches. Spread it around in here. Looks like I'll have to keep me up some more potting soil for the next round of seeding I do. And there we go. And I just firm it down lightly. Can you see down here? Yes, you can. Firm it down, firm, firm, firm. Let me check the level of the soil, make sure I got it deep enough. Oh yeah, that's plenty deep. Okay, first seed in there. Now I am going to probably do at least half of these seeds. I might even try to sow some of them directly out into what I call a nursery bed, meaning I'll start seeds in a raised bed that's dedicated to seed starting. I will hopefully take you along on that ride when I do so. So I am sprinkling, I would say half of the seeds over top. I'm just broadcasting is what it's called. And what comes up, comes up. So I'm sure that's plenty. And when it comes time, I will come back and I will prick them out. It's called pricking out. And then I will pot them up into either the little 2-inch pots that I got from Bootstrap Farmer or into a tray that has the cells. I even have some 6-packs that I saved and cleaned up from last year's plants. I'm always recycling stuff. And that works too. So it doesn't have a good firm bottom. I just want to press these to always make sure there's firm contact between your seeds and the soil, no matter what. And I'm pretty sure this is the one that said to keep it, just press it into the soil. Do not cover. I might sprinkle a little bit of vermiculite on it. Seed depth, barely cover. Yeah, okay. So I'll put a little bit of vermiculite on it because it helps retain moisture. If it doesn't have, I don't always put a lid on it, but I probably will, because I have a fan going in by my light rack for the other seedlings. That helps them to produce an enzyme when they have that little airflow. That makes them sturdier and more robust. So I barely put a sprinkling of that on it. When I take it in, I will put it in a tray that is on my light rack. I will bottom water, and I will put some plastic wrap over top or another type of lid that will help keep the moisture in. Now I will put this one on my heat mat, and that will help it to come up. Now this one, let me read all the intro on it. Violet Queen's flowers and leaves share a wonderful scent in the garden. It blooms non-stop through the summer. That's one thing I wanted. Just remove the spent flower spikes and enjoy its lovely continual violet color in garden beds mixed with colorful annuals. Hummingbirds, butterflies, and other pollinators will also flock to the show. Snip a few full blooms for bouquets and tabletop arrangements. Start indoors and be rewarded with first-year blooms. Now, other salvias are biennials. Some are used as annuals, like the ones I said that are hardy to zone 8. And the blue, like I said, the blue Victory, I don't have high hopes of it coming back. If it does, it's a win. If it doesn't, no big deal. Now the Violet Queen, it says 24 inches, 2 feet. I think this would be a good one to plant where I have the larkspur. Now my larkspur comes up, it blooms early. And even with deadheading, it just will sporadically bloom. So this will replace that blue. Now the larkspur, my larkspur in my garden can get 3-4 feet tall. But this will be a great replacement amongst the roses, etc., for that pop of blue color. And I let many times I'll let 1 or 2 of my larkspur go to seed. I'll pull that whole plant up and sprinkle it over areas that I want it to reseed in. And it will. In fall, it will start sprouting. In winter, they'll be about this big. They'll live through the snow, rain, cold, all that, and then be beautiful again in the spring. In fact, I'm often digging them out of pathways and all that kind of stuff because they just go crazy. They reseed so easily. And so that's my Violet Queen sowing. There was a few other things on my list for sowing. Now, one of my last videos, I was seeding Gomphrena, and the package here says to soak them, and I did my research because I did not soak the last batch I sowed. And they said, it's a good idea, but you don't have to. So I'm safe with not soaking them. They kind of are a pain because they're floating, and to get them apart, and then they stick together. I don't know. If I was to soak them, I think I would do it like in a coffee filter where they're all separated out, and yeah, then I could pull them off and sew them. I don't know if I'll do that either. I think I will just probably sew these in one of these flats. This is the one I sewed in last time in the other one, that I took indoors. Already, have you ever grown mullein? These are also called, verbascum. Now, I have 2 or 3 different verbascum. 3. I have Southern Charm, Wedding Candles, and I have a violet one that I had gotten at Annie's Annuals. All of them do gorgeous in my garden. Now, they do come back. The Wedding Candles, I started from seed. I didn't realize where I put them, they got super tall. I didn't want them super tall in that area, so I will probably move them this spring. But that bed where they are at, the gophers really got into, so I don't even know if they're going to make it through this winter. If not, no big deal. I started them from seed, and I can start again. And I'm going to be a little more judicious in where I plant them out. So I just thought this was a beautiful color. This one is called Antique Rose. I want it to focus for you so I can get my face out of there. I don't know if it's working. Or maybe if I get my face in there. Or maybe it is focused. I'm blind as a bat without my glasses on. I guess I should have put them on. All right, so that's another one I'm going to be sewing. But gladiolas. These are the ones that I bought on my trip to Green Acres. And how I get those started is I just fill up gallon pots. Do I have any in here? 1 gallon pots. They're probably all out there. And I will seed them. I'll stick them in the pots. Let me see, how many is there in here? 10. So I would do 2 or 3 per pot. And then, because the gophers love them, I would either put them out in a raised bed once they got a little bit bigger. And, it hasn't been getting that cold in here, so I think they're fine. They're almost like refrigerated for now because I can't put them out in the garden right away. Over in the Sacramento area where this nursery is, they are able to put them out. In fact, this is the time of year for them to put out. But I wanted to have a pick of the selection and go for it. So right now, being in here is okay in their packaging because it's like being refrigerated and it's just holding them in dormancy. So, okay, so we did the salvias. I do need to do some bachelor buttons in my winter sowing. Bachelor buttons are one of those flowers that like it cool. And I had the blue package here. What did I do with it? Or maybe it's in on my table. I really do need to go through my seeds here and take care of them. So, well, I can't see them. One moment. Got it. Found my bachelor buttons. I will go ahead and winter sow these. The only thing is, they will come up later. I could sew them inside and then they'd be ready to put out really early, and I'm tempted to do that. So maybe I'll think about that one for a minute. That one I should have sown in the fall right before winter started, but the bed that I wanted to put them in, I have a 8x4 bed that I was going to do all cutting flowers in, and I was going to start with the cool weather ones, sow them in fall, and let them come up and bloom and pick and all that. But I wasn't able to get the soil to fill the bed with because of many many things going on. So instead of that, I think I will go ahead and I will winter sow some, this is Sputnik Rudbeckia. I have a bunch of containers here that I can get some more winter sowing done, and I'm almost running out of time, pretty much, because March is next week. Yeah, March is next week. So this is pretty much the last week to do any real winter sowing for things that need a cold spell for me. March could be very cold too, and even April can have, but April can have some days that are warmer. And who knows, with this winter, I heard a lot of people saying that they've had a bit warmer than normal temperatures, even like Wisconsin, Wyoming, places like that, Michigan. So who knows? This has been a wild winter. Last winter was a wild winter. We had that heavy snow, so who knows? I think every winter is going to be wild from now on. I went ahead and added a little bit of perlite to this one. I didn't with most of those that are out there. I'm just firming it down. It has an inch or two, a couple inches of soil in there. And this is Sputnik. And I am going to just sow all of them. I could sow some of them inside, but they're stuck in the bottom. I'm going to open it up carefully and just sprinkle it around. Now this one was from Park Seeds, and Sputnik, I'll put a picture up of it, is a real interesting Rudbeckia, and in my garden Rudbeckias do beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and press it in again, read the package. Now the only thing bad about these is it can be kind of hard to read them. Sow seeds 6 to 8 weeks before last frost. Fill a shallow container. Do not cover. Sow the seeds in shallow rows. Keep evenly moist by watering. Provide bright, not direct sunlight. Germination should be between 70 and 80. Will germinate in 7 to 21 days. You know what? Maybe I'll go ahead and just cut the lid off of this or put this on the light rack like it is. It says germination 70 to 80, so that means it would go on the heat mat. And germination temperature. So, yeah, I would have to cut the top off to do that. Well, if I want to guarantee getting some, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to cut it off. This will fit on the heat mat in a tray. We'll be good. We'll be all good. In fact, I could probably put it on the one that hasn't been working for sure, or just didn't seem like it. Maybe I'll test it out. But let me make sure I got all of the seeds out of here. Do you like how I change my direction? I do that all the time, so it can happen. You know, seed starting is not that difficult. You don't have to be that precise. You can just kind of wing it a little bit. Just read the general directions. Seeds have been starting on their own in the wild forever and ever. So don't, like I said, overthink it. The number one thing that most of us do is over pamper them. That is either overwatering, certainly overfeeding, and all of that. And that's one thing I like about using potting soil when I seed start, is you don't need to add any nutrients if it's a good quality. The EB Stone's Edna's Best is what I have available locally. It has feather meal, bone meal, not bone meal, what is it? Feather meal, all kinds of nutrients, bat guano, yada yada. And it said that it can last up to 3 months. So even if you're using this in containers, you don't really need to feed it that much until like summer comes and you're really watering, which can flush through the nutrients faster because you have to keep it moistened. Then it could be a problem and need feeding. But other than that, you do not. So that's why I like using it for seed starting, because I don't usually have to supplement. Okay, I need to label this. So that's going to be my next thing. Sputnik. Now see how these make good starting trays just by themselves without Sputnik. Rudbeckia. I'm going to put the date on it too. But so I didn't have to buy anything fancy. I can recycle the milk jugs for starting trays. and it works just fine too. So today is 22nd. I think my husband's looking for me. I think it's the 22nd. Yes, just a second. It's my husband. We're going to go to lunch. Well, after my interruption, my husband wanted to take me to lunch, and we went, got chicken feed and a few errands ran, and it was a beautiful day to do that. But now I'm back. We've gotten through the weekend. We had a wonderful weekend. It was sunny and gorgeous. And now I'm finally getting back in here to finish this video. So I want to take you along. Well, I shouldn't say take you along. I'm going to share with you updates on even the salvias that we just planted in this video, of where they're bitty, but they're already sprouting, which is amazing to me because it said 7 to something days. Anyway, so that's heartening to see. Loved it. Hopefully the footage turned out okay because it was inside and I did it on my phone really quick. But even if it's not that great, I'm going to let you see the updates of all the things I've started just recently and put inside on my light rack for seed starting. And if you look really close in there, you can see the little dots of green. This is the salvia, and it's already sprouting. Here's my heat mat I was telling you about, and this is the Sputnik. So the Sputnik I just now put on the heat mat. It's been up on an upper shelf. But over here, this is the delphiniums, Amy, and other things that I sowed. And look, things are sprouting. Things are doing good. And here are the sweet peas, all stretching up there. I can put them out soon. I actually broke this one, but I'm sure if I cut it back, it'll continue to grow. So up here are some more of my petunias that are still coming along. Petunias are very slow. That's why I give them an early head start. And here's some more over here. So up here are the roses that I did cuttings of, and many of them have rooted because I've tried to pull them up. And I don't know, can you see through there? There is several of the gumfrinas that are already popping up in that little tray. This is the burpee tray, and I had put the mat. There's a mat that's supposed to do the self-watering, and I put it in upside down, but it's still working. The black side that I did put downside, is what should be upright, but the difference is the black side doesn't clog up. Like if I got the felty side, which I put up, that can easily get clogged with debris. So right now I'm not moving it because it's working, and without jostling it around, I don't see it getting clogged. So once I remove the tray, the seedlings get a little bit bigger. When I say tray, I meant lid. Once I remove the lid off the tray, then, in fact, I should do that with them all germinating. Then later on a bit, I will flip that over and let them continue to grow. And look at here. That's my microgreens. This is my microgreens. Look at that. Just a few days and they're popping up. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video of sowing salvia seeds. I still have some of the Victory, which I am going to sow into another recycled tray. I have a few of those left. They get much taller than the ones I just sowed, and that's going to be nice because I have areas to put them in, and they did so beautifully last year. They were later to bloom, but they were blooming when a lot of other things were fading, so it was perfect. And they'll do great in my garden. And I'm trying to really use up my seeds and focus on planting those out rather than buying larger plants this summer. I do get a thrill from buying plants, and going plant shopping is just fun, and I see something maybe I want to add, but I do have limited space. So the salvias, so far, the gophers have left alone. So I'm trying to lean into plants or using plants that they don't seem to want to bother. So that's one of my goals. That way I don't have to worry about them gobbling them down. Now, I've had them eat my larkspur, And some years they will and some years they won't. I don't know what their thinking is. But so I did put out a bunch of the repellent for the gophers. Hopefully that will work. I probably should get some more. It is not something that's a one and done. So I have to put it out every month or so. And a container that covers all of my gardens is about $14, $15. So there's that expense. And it's made from castor oil. I do have a liquid castor oil that you can go out and spray on it, but I have to mix it up. I don't know. It's kind of a hassle. I think the granules are easier. And with the craziness that is my life, easier is sometimes better. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Come on back for the next one where we will be sharing. I don't think I shared what I got at Green Acres completely. And I'm going to be potting some of those things up. So come on back and we will take a look at that. Okay.